With me now is the management of Fortis Healthcare. They declared numbers overnight. Sir, thank you so much for taking out time for us. Can you just first start by the corporate action? At Fortis, we are looking to demerge SRL Diagnostics. Can you just take us through the way ahead there?
Sure. At the end of Q4, you might recall we had announced intentions to explore opportunities or options to unlock the value in SRL. Now, SRL, as you know, is one of the oldest brands in healthcare in India, and it's the largest diagnostic business. And it's a fantastic brand, very loyal patient following, tremendous credibility when it comes to diagnostics, whether it's pathology, radiology, whatever it might be. So we had announced last quarter that we would explore options from a unlocking value perspective, and after some diligence, a recommendation was made to the board today, to our board, that we would look at just that at a demerger. Now, what's happened is that some high-level design principles were presented, and our board has basically put together an exploration committee that is going to now, a diligence committee that's going to put together all the details and facts behind this. So everything from timeline, the specific mechanics around it, valuation becomes very, very important, very significant, obviously, all of these things, and they're going to be coming back to the board on the 19th. So 2 weeks from now, it will be presented to the board, and I think at that point we'll know a lot more in terms of how we go about it. But I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing for the SRL brand. I think it's a good thing for the Fortis brand. You have two independent, strong brands, both leaders in their space, and this gives them both very strong, independent platforms, and I think it bodes well. And as important as anything else, it's great for the shareholders, and we're certainly happy to be able to do that as well.
Will this largely be a reverse merger or a separate listing? When do you expect the entire process to complete and SRL Diagnostic to be listed separately?
I think it's too early to speculate on, again, the mechanics, whether it's one type of platform or another. I think it's going to take post the 19th, assuming that gets approved, which I think it will. I think at that point it'll take a few months. So if I had to hazard a guess, and I don't want to put a specific timeline, but I would think it might take till the end of the year for us to get there. Net, once it's done, I think we move forward in a very strong and robust fashion.
EBITDA and profits were expected to be strong, and EBITDA margin, as they're looking for any of the hospital companies, came in particularly quite strong with a good expansion of 40 to 50 basis points. What drove the margins?
Yeah, we're very excited, very pleased with what the quarter has to report. At a high level, we reported a positive PAT, which is always good. But when you break it down, both the hospital business and the diagnostic business did very well. The hospital business, on a revenue basis, grew at almost 10%. This is like for like, so this isn't any additional new hospitals or anything like that. The revenue growth was in the 9.5% range, and certainly that's a good number. On a cost basis, I think the organization has done a tremendous job. We have some outstanding hospital heads, outstanding administrators, some of the world's best doctors and nurses, and they've just done a tremendous job in bringing efficiency in our system, and I think that's certainly helped. The net of all of it is that on an EBITDAC basis, the hospital business has gone from 125 crore to almost 140 crore, which is a fantastic number. The SRL performance has been stable with last year, and we think that certainly will continue to grow from here as well. I think at the heart of all of this, and what we're really the most pleased about, is the great patient care initiatives we have, because that's what drives all this, right? You can't not take care of the patients and then expect to have good results. So we're very pleased. As I just mentioned, we have some of the best doctors in the world, and I think that they do a fantastic job taking care of our patients, and that's our singular focus, is provide the best possible patient care, and I think that's what's starting to help with the improved performance that you're starting to see now.
So last when we spoke, you said that margins would expand continuously in FY17, plus there would be a double-digit growth in revenues for the entire year. Do you continue to maintain that for the rest of 9 months?
I do, and that's based on some very, very solid programs that we're doing. We continue to bring new doctors in, continue to introduce new medical programs. I think in the last 3 or 4 months, some of the top clinicians, 4 or 5 of the top clinicians in the country have joined Fortis, which is really exciting, because I think when you get great doctors, then that's when you can really do some great things. But on top of that, we have some fantastic doctors here. We have some of the best cardiologists, some of the cardiac surgeons, neuro doctors as well, orthopedic. So I think that based on good clinical programs, we're investing in technology. In the last year, we've introduced 2 robot surgery programs, one in Gurgaon and one in Okla, and they're both doing very well. We're one of the leaders in the transplant space in India. We operate India's largest heart transplant program in Chennai. Yesterday, we started construction on India's first liver transplant center, which is also very, very exciting. So the short answer to your question is that absolutely we do expect robust growth. We do think it's going to be in that double-digit area, and I think it'll continue for quite some time.
Medical tourism in India is picking up with a growth of about 30 to 40% plus. Fortis is a big brand. You've invested quite a lot in branding of Fortis. Will Fortis be a big beneficiary of that over the next few years?
Yeah, listen, the medical tourism business is doing exceptionally well. I think the interesting story here is that once upon a time, I think India as a healthcare destination was that because of a cost perspective or the fact that it was less expensive. I think what's happening today is that India has become a fantastic healthcare destination, because of value, certainly that matters, but also because of the great clinical programs we have and the doctors we have. So I think that the medical tourism industry, I think Fortis specifically, I think this is going to lead to substantial growth for the foreseeable future. I do not see this letting up, not in the next 1, 2, 3, 5 to 7 years. I think it's going to continue to grow. We have at Fortis, we've invested quite a bit. We have lots of representatives working in some of these locations. We're working with the government to simplify visas and the process in getting a visa. We're building accreditation so that when patients come here, they can be guaranteed good quality patient care. So yeah, I think that this is certainly going to continue. Everybody in the world knows that India has some of the best doctors in the world, and I think we're blessed at Fortis because we have some of the best doctors, we have great clinical programs, and we are proactively working on building this business. So yeah, I think this is going to be a great business for us. It's double-digit, it's solid double-digit growth, and again, I think that's going to be that way for quite some time to come.
One growth would come in from, of course, the medical tourism. The second growth would be from your new strategy, especially in the tier 2 and tier 3 cities where you're looking to expand but not particularly spend a lot of capex. So the model over there is different.
Yeah, we operate 4,400 beds today, and we have the ability to add 5 to 10% every year, which is exactly what we're doing. So we're adding beds in some of our hospitals in Gurgaon, in Fortis Escorts, in Mulund, in Shalimar Bagh, and a couple other hospitals around the country. I think that when you look at additional new hospitals, you rightly said, our position has been that we're going to expand and add locations through an O&M model, and they will be coming in secondary and tertiary cities. So that plan is very much on track. I think we'll open up our first O&M model towards the end of this year, but I think next year we'll have 3 or 4 more coming up. And the target, one of the target locations for this is the secondary and tertiary cities that you're talking about. And the great thing about this is that you're doing this with a partner who knows that geography. So whether it's in the south, whether it's in the north, wherever it might be, the fact that you have a partner who knows that geography, who knows the area, who has a vested interest in making it work, and then you bring Fortis with its process platform, great clinicians, great doctors. It's a fantastic combination. So I think it's going to be an outstanding product, and I think it's going to be a win-win for the partner. It's going to be a win-win for us. But most of all, I think it's the people who need quality treatment in these areas that I think will win as well.
After 2 or 3 years, these tier 2, tier 3 investments that we are doing in terms of new strategy will start to pay up. Will that be a component as far as debt repayment is concerned? Debt repayment right now, of course, you have done a lot of debt repayment via asset sales. Right now, are we at comfortable position?
Listen, there are multiple ways that you can bring down debt. And obviously part of that is generate your own cash, that's the direction we're moving in. Could it contribute to it? Sure it could. We're not looking we're not looking at the O&M model as the solution to our debt. It'll help, but I think we'll do what any other good company would do in terms of managing cash flow, ensuring that you get the best possible financial setups that you can. So I don't think that our debt's in bad shape. I actually think our debt for the size business we have, we're a 4,000 crore business with about 1,600 crore in debt. Very manageable. Will it come down a little bit? I'm sure it will, but I don't think it's in any way, shape, or form, I don't think it's at a bad level.
What was the performance as far as diagnostic business is concerned? Slight bit of slowdown continues over there?
So the diagnostic business, as I mentioned, grew at slightly shy of 8%, which again, it continues to be, it's a good performance. The SRL brand is the most respected diagnostic player in the country today, whether it's in pathology, radiology, whatever it might be. I think the great thing about SRL is that from a geographic presence, we are by far and away the largest, whether it's in terms of collection centers, whether it's in terms of labs, laboratories, and we continue to invest in them. We continue to invest in the number of programs, and the number of tests we can do, the number of diagnostics we can do. Some time back, we weren't in radiology. We've expanded into radiology. So I think from a revenue perspective, I think you'll see the numbers get stronger as we go forward. There's been some new laboratories that have been introduced there, some additional collection centers that we've added. I think beyond that, from a margin perspective, our margin this year in the low 20s, consistent with last year. I think you'll see that get stronger as well. Because if you look at SL's trajectory over the last 12, 16, 20 quarters, you'll see that the growth, top line, bottom line, have both been very, very strong. So a little bit of cyclical component, but no reason for, I think it's going to come back very, very strong.
Can you tell us about hospital awareness, the way it is increasing? Are we looking at more and more people coming in towards larger hospital for better diagnostics and results?
I'm not sure if I would agree with this statement that the size of a hospital determines how successful it's going to be. We have a very large hospital in Gurgaon, 300-bedded hospital. We have a large hospital in Mohali. But, we have a 150-bedded hospital in Vasant Kunj that does a tremendous job in terms of taking care of patients. It's a multi-specialty hospital, covers most of the clinical disciplines that exist, and we do a great job. We have a kidney hospital in Calcutta. It's humbling to walk in this hospital. It's a small hospital, 50, 60 beds, tiny hospital, but the quality of care they're giving in that hospital is just amazing. The amount of passion they have, the way they take care of the patient. So I think that it comes down to is what's the experience like, whether it's from a clinical perspective, from a care perspective. I don't think size determines it. Now, when you have a bigger hospital, can you do more clinically from a technology, equipment, space perspective? Of course you can. And would that be nice to have? Of course it would. But I have to tell you, I've just as well seen many smaller locations that also do a great job. So I think you'll see a mix. I think India's, we're all trying to figure out how do you get the whole clinic environment, how do you do smaller places, because you can't always have a big location. So I think you're going to see a healthy mix going forward. I think you'll always have the Gurgaons of the world, the large hospitals, but I also think there's a good healthy amount of space for the Vasant Kunjas of the world and the Calcuttas of the world, where a smaller hospital might thrive and do just as great a job taking care of patients.
Thank you so much, sir, for taking out time for us. Hope you have a great year going ahead.
Thank you.